You know, Corey, a man named Arthur C. Clarke once said, there are two undeniable truths of the universe. Mm-hmm. We are not alone, or we are alone in the universe. And both are equally terrifying.
And this is a review of Super 8.
I can explain.
The synopsis of Super 8. While filming, a group of kids witness a horrible train accident, and one of them witnesses an alien.
It was a good movie.
I liked it.
It was pretty entertaining. It was pretty fun. Anything that's tagged with Steven Spielberg,
You immediately saw that and you were like, I'm gonna watch this movie.
absolutely. Also, J.J. Abrams, he doesn't know who he is, but he's a fantastic writer for TV shows, and he pulled it off again.
He did in this movie. Usually, when actors go from anything from TV to movies, it's kind of like,
Right.
My attention was kept throughout this whole movie.
I was afraid once I seen the kids, I'm like, oh no, the kids are going to ruin this movie. But the kids were really good at their acting.
They did. They acted like kids. One of the things that was really refreshing about this movie, none of the kids were in an abusive relationship with their parents.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I thought that this was going to be like Forrest Gump.
Right, one of those movies.
Where the girl in this movie was going to be abused by her father.
Right.
I thought her dad was it was a really sad story where he's trying to apologize. He can't even see the sheriff's son because he feels sad for him every time.
The one thing I had a bit of confusion on is what happened exactly. Like, we know there was an accident, and we know that the son's mom died in it, and we know he was involved, but that was pretty much it.
Well, I think that I would have liked more backstory on the alien. Just because
really?
I like when the creatures that are in these movies, I like when they're visible.
See, I disagree with you.
Let me finish my thought.
Okay.
I liked the lighting, and you got how big this creature was.
Right.
It's just one of those things where I like to see everything.
I understand what you're saying about there.
And the whole beginning of this movie was annoying me because it was like, oh, the creature would come in and then the sign would turn so you couldn't see the creature there.
Alright.
And I was like,
But I disagree with you on that point too, because I think that the making of those guys making a movie and that story itself and how they run into the alien was cool, was unique, and I don't think they needed to bring the alien right away in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the invisibility, as you say, like the things, it kind of gives you the approach of something's there. We don't know what it is.
It's kind of like the Cloverfield mentality.
Right. Exactly
where
like that
the
kind
monster's there, and it's building suspense throughout the whole movie because you can see it destroying these things, but you can only see black.
Right.
And in reality, that's what it would be like.
Exactly.
If a monster's in the dark, it's in the dark. You're not going to be able to see what it is. You're just going to be able to see a hulking shadow. So I guess the realism part of it is
absolutely, and the fear and the realism of the train blowing up and the kids freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, I would be freaking too.
Corey and I took apart that train scene because we were like, would one truck have done that? And then we figured out the physics and
logically figured, that probably would happen like that.
Because a body in motion stays in motion against a immovable object, and it creates force, and then all the other train cartridges. I like this movie.
It was fun.
We've actually had 2 good movies in a row.
Holy
3 good
crap.
movies in a row.
I know, right? This is kind of crazy, like a new little turn.
Yeah. Alternate universe.
What do you think about the acting, overall?
I love the acting.
I thought they were.
You couldn't tell they were actors. It seemed like a small town.
Even when the people were freaking out, and you had those things like, oh no, everybody's freaking out, and it's typical.
Yeah.
Everybody freaked out how they should.
It's like everybody was just filing on a bus, and it seems like to me there would have been more. It wouldn't have been so neat.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I guess the military was there,
right?
But it still would have seemed like everybody would have been more panicked because the grandpa was like, we're evacuating because a fire could hit the chemical plant.
And it did happen quickly too.
Yeah, it wasn't a very slow thing, and they didn't go into much emphasis on it before suddenly there was tanks and missiles, and it
became a war zone.
Yeah, very suddenly you were like, how did we get to this part?
Yeah. Improvements.
I would have actually liked this movie to be longer.
Really?
Yeah.
I
mean, it pulls up into like the hour 50 mark.
Right.
I think it would have been good like as
10 more minutes? Something like
10,
that?
15 more minutes to explain a little bit more. I would have liked a little bit more interaction with the alien.
Guys, that should tell you how much fun this movie was. We never say that a movie should be longer.
Yeah, and it keeps your attention. You're like, the alien is interesting because it's this weird mix of like huge bulking mass, but then it builds these little machines like electromagnets.
Right.
And it's like, you need little fingers for that. How is he doing this? I just thought it was interesting.
It was a fun movie overall. So what would you rate this movie?
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
I'm going to actually give it a 4.5 out of 5. It was close to a perfect movie for me for a Steven Spielberg movie. So, if you guys have seen this movie, please let us know in the comments below what you thought. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Also, like us on Facebook.
And don't forget to leave a comment below. Like his page, like my page. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/NetflixCritics. I don't know. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see our faces on billboards and...
In dreams, maybe.
And dreams.
Or when you daydream. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Next time on Netflix Critics, we'll be watching...
Teddy Bear.
And it's not...
What you think
at all. It's not Ted, the sequel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye.
Under my papa's feet, a realer than the final breath that he got to breathe. The realer that my brother's stone faces when we took his casket out the church that he raised us in.